Welcome back to the Call Me Larry podcast, the only podcast that churns its own butter. So, speaking of churning butter,
is that what I walked in on you doing the other night?
This is Jason, and I'm here with Zach. And, we wanted to talk today about technology and, like primal urges, primitiveness, and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I want to ask you, Amazon tribes and Old English people, how unimaginable is the world that we're living in right now? Right, yeah. Recording on this podcast with this technology, with video, phones. Like, for someone that has never seen that before.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie George in the Jungle?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not that. I don't know, whatever.
So there's Curious George, which is the monkey, and then George in the Jungle, which is the man that thinks he's a monkey.
Yes. Or there's other ones. I don't know. There's plenty of movies where, you take a man out of... basically he's like a Tarzan character. He's
I think it's George in the
nowhere.
Jungle or Tarzan, yeah.
Yeah, and then you bring him into modern society, and, they look at things like... What is this? And to us, it's it's no big deal. It's just my cell phone. I use it all the time, every day.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is this mystical box that I know? It has all the answers I seek at the tip of, literally you're just Googling shit. It's wild. But that your mind must be blown. Or, if you go to a tribe that hasn't seen any kind of, technology or whatever, and you just land in a helicopter, they're like, well, you're God now. We obey you.
Yeah. It's you were literally came from the heavens.
Yes. It's insane.
It's crazy. This computer that we have in front of us right now, right? Even if it was just, it's a computer. It's a $2,000 object, right? To us that we use for everyday life and work. To someone that in a primitive world, this is like a box.
Yes.
It's this is hammer. This is weird hammer shaped tool.
Yes.
What is it? What is it?
Dude, there's a tribe. I don't know the name and I forget where it is, but basically it's a tribe on an island that they've survived there for literally probably hundreds of years, thousands of years.
I think I've heard
whatever.
of this,
It's the one where basically they're we don't want any outsiders get murdered. If you try and come near our island, we kill you. People have tried to bring them Christianity.
I don't know if it's called Cannibal Island or not, but
I forget the name of it, but basically,
it's a completely self-sustained, island of natives that live there, do not want any contact with anyone
But there are people who have tried to go there to bring them religion or try and bring them to the modern age, and they're just they immediately freak out and kill you, and you just get nailed with the spear.
Yeah, dude, I'm just I'm a good I'm a good Samaritan, I'm a priest. It's I'm coming over in a little canoe boat.
That's what happened.
And I get close to the island and I see and they start throwing spears at me and just kill me instantly.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ, running away. But it makes me think too along this line of questioning, I guess, is that so you had one dude in a rowboat try and bring them God. And what if you just roll up in an Apache helicopter, which is an absolute killing machine, and it's well, our little toothpicks do not match at all. All of a sudden,
that's just gonna stop them from trying.
Yeah, exactly. True. Oh no, its armor is toothpick. You're fighting a dragon at that point, dude. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's wild, but I've seen some videos on YouTube, and I bring up my YouTube recommendation feeds a lot in this show. But something else that does come up is videos on people getting interviewed that don't know, they're getting interviewed on camera and they don't know what a camera is. They're just sharing their lives, just talking to you.
Oh, right? That's wild.
Specifically, look up Old English. Old English interviews. It's crazy because these people are in Europe and they live with nothing on, talking about churning butter and everything. They're completely self-sustained farming. They've refused all technology, and it's amazing. First off, they have really cool Old English accents. This is really the beginning, the very beginning of English history.
It's descendants of the original.
Yeah. And so they have this really interesting, unique kind of accent, which I guess they wouldn't have the accent because they are the creators of English, right? I guess I am the one with the accent, right? But it's very cool.
Yeah, right.
And I would recommend checking it out. But that was just so mind-boggling to me because without my phone, without my computer, I would be completely helpless.
That's what I was going to say was we're literally sitting here in the studio with our phones in front of us, with a computer, everything. We were literally just on our phones checking NFL scores to 5 seconds ago. You might be doing it right now. I don't even know.
Yeah.
You think about the fact, my biggest pet peeve in life, and this is kind of petty almost, but it's when technology doesn't do what it's designed to do. If I'm moving faster than my computer, if my phone's not working, if I have to restart it, I'm just I immediately get angry. And I'm yo, you, I pay money for this, you need to be working, whatever. But then it's what if it just never existed? What would I think? I need that object? We have no power. I need light. You don't know.
Yeah, well, it's like I think back to like when the power goes out, right? Like when I've been in situations where it's like even if it's for a couple of hours, Wi-Fi's down, the power's out, I am disconnected from reality. Like I don't know what to do. I'm like I haven't read a fucking book in like 4 years.
Dude, so our senior
since I graduated college, I had not read a book.
Our senior year of college, I took one winter class, so I was there with like a handful of people, and only one person I was actually living with. We had a 5-person apartment. Jason wasn't there; he was gone for the winter break. But I took a class, and we lost power for like 2 days at one point. So all the classes were canceled, but we're snowed in. Like we literally can't go anywhere, dude.
So you're snowed in and no power?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We literally, our neighbors had a generator in it, like one of those literally that you like, it's like gas powered or something, or maybe it was pre-charged, I don't know. Yeah. So we were running a laptop off of that, and everybody was just huddled around with a bunch of candles watching a movie. Because like, dude, we have nothing else to do. We had no idea. Like I think that one of the main buildings on campus had power just because of generators and stuff. But it's so sad when I look back on it that we're like, no TV, no internet. We actually have to talk to each other. Like, what are we gonna do? It literally forces you to like be with your friends.
It's a little like sad in the sense that we rely on it so much. You know, like when you kind of pull things back.
Yeah.
And I'll say like going on like a day into nature or like a cabin in the woods weekend without your phone and stuff is good for mental health. Yeah. Right? Because it just gives you that different. You're like, holy crap, how much I rely on this stuff. Mm-hmm. Right? And it helps you kind of realize that. But it's like the age we live in now. I cannot imagine living without any of that.
Dude, I saw a few of our other friends from college last weekend, and this one guy was telling me how he did a challenge with a couple of like the people that are still at the school we went to, about how it was a fitness challenge too and everything. But the part that blew my mind was that it was no social media as well. Like you weren't allowed to check your social media and stuff. And I was like, dude, I could never go a month without looking at Instagram. Like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
But the funniest thing was, so the rule was no social media. But the one guy in the group that did the challenge with them who was single was like, I have to be able to use Tinder and Hinge, like dating apps and stuff. It's like, he's like, I don't care about my likes, I don't care about my pictures, but I need to keep talking to the single ladies. And I was like, dude, you guys are ridiculous. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But it can be good sometimes. Because I was talking about like kind of like spending some more time in nature. I like there's certain aspects of that kind of like primal primitive life that's like tantalizing, kind of like interesting. Like I enjoy hiking and being outside. I think a lot of other people do, and I don't know what it is that kind of like draws you into that, but that's awesome. And like even stuff like chopping fucking wood, like it just feels good.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we don't require, so we have machines to do all this manual work for us now, but picking up an axe and smacking a tree or a piece of wood, just like, oh, it's so empowering. Why?
It just taps into your basic man instinct of like, it's like what we talk about when we go golfing. It's like I have a large object in my hands, and I'm going to hit a small object, and your testosterone and aggressiveness is just completely boosted. And especially like, dude, I immediately know like if you and I were together, it's like I'm going to chop wood harder than you're going to chop wood. Like my wood's going to be harder and cut faster. Like. Well, you know what I mean? Like that, it happens all the time. Yeah. But you think about it now, like axe throwing's a thing, right? Like that was back when you had to defend yourself if you were throwing axes.
That's
like,
so true.
Dude, we pay money to do things that we actually don't want to do. Like, you know how you can go to like a petting zoo and you pay to buy food to feed the animals? You're just paying to do these people's work. Like,
that's so funny, right? That's so funny. Yeah. It's like, hey, they don't have to feed it. Like,
yeah,
wait, that's ingenious.
They just made money.
You should get into the zoo industry, bro. Are you kidding me?
Dude, you can pay me money to feed me.
Oh my god. Wait, that's wild.
Be careful though, I bite.
No, but you're saying like axe throwing and stuff.
Well,
like,
yeah.
That is like all the rage right now. Like, pre-COVID, I had a lot of friends and groups of people that were like, "Oh, let's go axe throwing. This still looks so fun." Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, you can go axe throwing right now. Just buy a hatchet and just start throwing it at trees and backyards, right? But like the whole thing that they've commercialized it, right? That's what it comes down to, and they've commercialized this idea of feeding animals. Animals are fucking disgusting, dude. Whatever that goat you're feeding, like you're just licking his balls like a second ago. You know, like it's like these things are disgusting, bro. Like, but people are all about it, and like they're like, oh yes, little Jimmy, go feed the goat, and the goat's just licking his balls all over the kid's head.
Well, dude, it's literally like their brain. we've gotten so far in like society and advanced so far with technology and stuff that people know everything. They see all these things. So basically companies are like, okay, marketing wise, let's go back to something that was original, like something like back when people were blazing trails and paving roads and all these different things. And then you just drag up something that is so old that people our age and people in society now haven't seen. They're like, they'll pay money to do this. They'll definitely pay money to do this.
That's an interesting point,
right?
And you're talking about like kind of like what we like roads, paving roads, stuff like horses, right? People used to ride horses because there wasn't cars,
and now you pay money to go ride a horse.
You know how expensive it is to own a horse?
It's thousands of dollars. A lot of money.
So my aunt has a stable, and she likes to do horseback riding, and same with her daughter, right? And it costs so much, and the only way they can afford to do that is they own the stable and take care of other people's horses, and that's how they can afford owning their own horse. So the only reason that horses are crazy expensive.
Yeah.
But it's like that's like a sport now. That's an activity that people do, and horses were made to get around before cars.
They're literally a transportation.
Now they're more expensive than cars to keep.
Yeah.
Cars are cheaper, and that's when. That was back in the day. All these trails, all these roads were all paved by horses. Horses would walk through all these trails. Think about it in all of America, right? For example, just that alone, the amount of trails that have been created and passed for hundreds of years, thousands of years of people, traversing through it. And this goes back to like Native Americans, right? Being here first, and all of these hiking trails, the Appalachian Trail, throughout the country have all been paved by indigenous peoples or people way back in the day now. And now you're walking through these paths, right? These hiking trails, you're going on these roads that were created hundreds of years ago by people, which is so weird, right?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Well, no, like I actually think about that the same way too. It's more like I'll be driving down the highway and I'll kind of start to work my way through, theoretical history. It's like, wow, it must have taken them so long to create this road. Like, and then you think about it, okay, now we went from the world being almost pure, like untouched by technology, like no roads paved, no anything. And then, we got to where we are today, and there's like millions of miles of just highways and stuff. And it's like, dude, they're all connecting in some way, shape, or form. And like, you can connect and get through that. It takes forever. And then I start to think, I'm like, wow, I wonder what this was like before we just ruined it. Like you look like we're just blasting our way through creative. It's like, I got to get from A to B. Fuck you, nature. Like, talk to you later. I'm going to go chop this wood and now you'll be gone. I'll blast the way and then pave the way and then I'll have a whole new road. But it's just wild. Like I think about that, and I was driving to, I forget where we were going. I'm with my girlfriend, and I go, and like I'm being very like sophisticated. I'm like, you ever think about what this is like before we were here? Like this road wasn't here. Like maybe there was a house right there. I don't know. And she just looks at me and she's like, I've never once thought about that. I'm like, oh, dude, all right.
I have a really weird. You remind me of something really weird that I think about that I share with people, and they're like, what is the matter with you? Okay, so.
Oh, is this a story?
No. This isn't even a story. This is just you gotta set it up. Right? Okay. So you're talking about where I am standing right now, or like where we're going driving.
Like what was here 100 years ago?
So I have this weird thing where it's like I think the ocean covers up the vast majority of the earth.
70%.
Yeah, I thought it was around 70%.
The water is 70%. Yeah,
it's something like that, right? And the ocean is so deep, and it's as unexplored as space, right? There's so much there. What I was thinking is if I took I pointed my finger, right? And I was to point it, and that was going to be around the world, right? A full revolution around the world.
You've said something like
right?
this to me before.
Yeah, maybe I have. But if I point my finger right now, how many sharks did I just hit?
That's exactly what you
said.
Same
with an imaginary laser, just like pew, and then just it's a perfect line to the center of the earth. It's like how many animals did I just kill?
Wait, dude, the situation you just presented happened with us, and I don't think you remember. We were on the beach. Wherever we were, I don't know. We were on the beach somewhere, and you literally go, you think if I just pointed my finger that direction, how many sharks would be in that line? I go, Jason, I have no idea.
We were at Nausa Beach in Cape Cod
you're right,
for a vacation trip, and Nausa Beach is well known for the amount of sharks. So
that's
now
why
I remember.
Okay,
I didn't remember until you said that. Yeah. But I've said that to other people.
But I looked at you and I was like, what is wrong with you? Why is that what you think of?
But that goes for anything. So it's like how many whales, how many elephants. Like it would just be interesting.
How many people?
Imagine it's just like pew pew pew. Like it would be fun.
Dude, the funny thing about that though is you can make like a Family Guy skit, and we're just sitting on the beach, and you ask me that question. I'm like, dude, I don't know. And realistically, it's like the Russians are listening in their submarine, and they're like, he knows. And then you point your finger and it's like, we're in the line, and we're gonna get to There's just a couple guys freaking out.
Yeah, it's like a weapon.
That's hilarious.
It's like Peter Griffin's like on the beach and he's just like, here, watch this, Stewie. Like, you know, like, it's like the nuclear war and just
and then you flash back and Peter's like, oh my, for those who, we have no video, people are listening, my face is just like complete sheet of white and it's like, oh shit.
Yes, yeah. That's funny.
Wild.
Wow, I don't know how we got on that.
Dude, whatever. I don't know. But, like, if we reel it back in a little bit, like, we're talking about where we're sitting right now, like, what was here, like, a couple hundred years ago. Cities are so weird to me. Like, it makes sense, but it's also, like, okay, let's take as many people as possible and just cram them into a small space.
Yeah.
Make them pay obscene amount in rent to live in a little box just because everything's convenient and near them as far as, like, everything goes. Like, realistically, if you move to a city because you work there, and then within that city is every convenience you could possibly need with food, transportation,
No
whatever.
reason to leave.
Exactly. Like, and you just get sucked in and you're always there.
Yeah. Well, you're saying like cities. The other thing that's really, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they have kind of like the evolution of New York City, for example, right? The evolution of this city, the evolution of that city, Dubai, and you can see how the build up over hundreds of years. And it's so wild because the cities don't get bigger, they get taller.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like new buildings come in and just things keep getting taller and things keep going up.
Yeah.
And that's such a weird phenomenon to me. And I understand, it makes sense and everything, but it's like, to think about it, it's just like cities build upwards. You know,
Dude,
like, we don't have any more space here, so we go up.
There's a really cool thing in the One World Trade Tower in New York City is that I've actually never been. This was shown to me by a professor in grad school.
Okay.
But there's this really cool thing where, because the One World Trade Tower is the tallest building in New York City, it's literally skyscrapes, like goes directly into the sky above everybody else. So you can go to the, I think it's called the Oculus or like the Lookout or something. Basically you go all the way to the top and you can like, you know, it's an observatory.
I think that's what it's called.
The observatory.
Yeah.
But so the elevator ride, so in the elevators, all of the screens, or all the walls are screens, and as you get taller, it builds New York City, or higher in the building, it builds New York City around you in like, kind of like not AR, but like as if like you're looking at, so when you start on the bottom, you're looking at the screens, and it's like, I don't know when it does it from, but it's like nature and like animals and stuff with maybe a couple buildings or something, and then as you get taller and taller, you eventually get to modern day where it's like, whoa, like, yeah, that's wild, but which is really cool. I've never done it. I would actually love to, but you should try it out if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, that sounds like I want to do that. I want to see that. That would be so cool. And I've seen some stuff online, but like being in the elevator and like going up as you see it,
it's crazy.
It's funny that you say that because, and I think it is augmented reality. I do believe it's something. I think it's AR. It's not virtual reality.
You're not technically looking at like real space though. It's all recorded and designed. So.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird space, but it's an interesting effect. And I went to Universal Studios Orlando. Okay. Right, and there they have a Hogwarts Express, like the train for Harry Potter.
Sure.
They have like a Harry Potter world that you can jump between in the park, and so you get in the train, and the train actually takes you from one park to the other park. But once you're in the train, you get into
the windows.
You get into the windows, and everything experience on the train is you going from one King's or whatever
King's Cross Station.
King's Cross Station, right? From King's Cross Station to Hogwarts.
That's
and you
awesome.
see Hogwarts come up, and you see all this other stuff, and it feels really.
Wait, that's super cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it sounds very similar to what you're talking about, where you see this kind of virtually created experience of the city building.
Well, I think it's very standardized technology, but it's just like you create an experience for someone that they never would have gotten. And like, I don't know how much it is to take a trip to the top of the Oculus, and I know Universal is probably like $100 for one day or something. But
it'll be cheaper now post COVID.
True, but it also it just makes it so much cooler too.
Have you seen the sites? I've gone to some of the websites for these parks. And it's like, it's kind of scary because they have like a disclaimer. It's like, it's pretty much saying we are not responsible for COVID.
Oh my
like,
God.
It's just like in huge red text. It's like, it's saying you very possibly might get COVID.
When I heard Disney reopened, I was like, what are you doing? There's so many people. How did they have to, they would have to spray down all of the roller coasters and everything.
Well, I think they can do it. I think they can do it, but there needs to be a huge capacity limit. Right, and there needs to be full sanitation in between every ride.
True.
Right, I've gone to gyms right now, and what they're doing at gyms is they have like a 30-minute or hourly routine of like spraying down everything, and everyone has like responsibilities to like make sure stuff's clean. But I think they could do it, but it's a shit show one way or another, no matter what. And all these companies have lost so much money because of COVID. It's really a shame. Disney, they laid off like a crazy amount of employees. Was it like 75,000?
A lot. I don't know how many, but a lot.
One of my friends got laid
right.
off. Yeah, they were working at Epcot and they had gotten laid off because of everything that's been going on.
No, exactly. So speaking of like people on top of each other with COVID and everything, it kind of brings me back to the cities though, because it's like you're forced to be among people in cities, and it's just like you cannot go 10 seconds without passing someone on the city street. But that brings me up to something I saw today, which was just wild. And it was so confusing too. So Halloween was a week ago now, or a couple weeks ago now, depending on when we drop this. But I was walking, down the city streets where we are right now. I was running to grab a 30 rack from the liquor store for a little Sunday fun day, a little football, live, love, Bud Light. And dude, I turn the corner at the end of our block, and then I just start walking up the main road where we are. And dude, to my left, coming right at me with literally no one around him or her, or no context, is a person in an literally a Top Gun, like pilot's uniform, like the whole jumpsuit and everything. Which was like, if I just saw that, I'd be like, oh, you're in the Air Force, you're in the Armed Forces, you're a soldier.
Did it look legit? It didn't look like a
It looked legit, yeah. It literally looked like it was real. So that would have been fine until I noticed that the person was wearing a Scooby-Doo head.
Wait, it's not Halloween?
No.
Dude, this is November.
There's nobody around them. I'm like, all right. Because all right, this is what would have been fine. Just an aviator or a pilot's uniform or whatever it's called, the jumpsuit, or a Scooby-Doo costume. Yeah. One of the other. But the combination, I was like, I did a double take and I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Like, what the fuck?
You see some weird shit in cities, dude. Man. I just yesterday, Zach was here yesterday as well. We've been doing some work and content, hanging out. We saw Batman on a bicycle. Right? And
I forgot about that.
Dude, random bikers, cyclists were coming up to him and taking selfies on the side of the bike lane.
Dude, you go, hey, it's Batman, and I'm expecting to look over and see Batman, but in a black Lamborghini, some dude just everyone in his camera showed off. And the fact that he was on a bike with the Batmobile symbol on it, like a little, like it was blacked out, but it had the little. I was like, you went way too hard.
It's not just he's in the Batman costume. Props to that, right?
Yeah.
And he's on a bike, but it's not just that he's on a bike. He's in the bike-mobile. He's literally created a Batmobile version in a bike form.
Dude, literally, that was that's
dedication.
That is the perfect. We got $100. What are we gonna do? We're gonna do. This is not a high budget operation. We are gonna use what we have.
Yeah. It is. I will say, it is interesting though, because something like that right there, that seems somewhat wholesome. And I don't know if this guy thinks he's Batman or not, whatever it may be.
Oh, dude, no judgment whatsoever. It was just hilarious.
No, it was funny, but think about the impact. Every person that saw him is like, I saw Batman on a bike.
I took a picture.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
But I guess in a way, though, it's good, right? He's doing something good. He's making people
made me smile,
make them laugh, make them interested. That's respectable in its own. Now it's different when you go into certain parts of. I've been in New York a couple times, and they have some mascots that will hassle you to take pictures and try to get money from you.
Yeah,
that's miserable. But he was clearly not doing that, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know what his life is, and I know a couple people that do dress up. We either do dress up as Santa Claus or any sort of character. When you create it, it changes people's everyday life, right? It's a notch. It's a jolt in their everyday life that changes things up.
Yeah,
I don't see Batman every day.
Yeah, well, talking about people. See, I'm perfectly okay with you just doing that and being in the streets and whatever. But what kills me is when people are like, "Oh, hey, I'm dressed up as Spider-Man and you're gonna give me money." I'm like, dude, I didn't ask for this. But when you ride the subway, and probably in any city, I'm only thinking of a few right now,
God.
Dude. And the people that come on and it's they start, the singing, playing the guitar. Dancing, dude. I've seen many times people using the poles in subways and the grab bars or whatever they're called, to just be dancing around and moving shit, and they have a boombox or whatever. And in my head, I'm like, dude, good for you. You have a talent, whatever. But I'm not paying you. I didn't ask you to do this. This was not requested. You just got on here and decided to sing your heart out, and then you're like, all right, any money would be appreciated. I'm like, aside from the fact that I don't have any money to give you, like I didn't.
Yeah,
request
I'm not knocking Subway like hustlers in that sense,
Yeah.
right? Like, or people that are trying to provide entertainment, but that they're not leisurely walking around enjoying themselves. Like they're doing something, right? So when you throw in, and I'm gonna tell you this, I don't know if you know this. I've been in a Subway. Did you know an entire mariachi band can fit in a Subway car? dude,
Wait, I've never had that.
Dude, are you kidding me? I had an entire mariachi band come in my Subway car.
That's
3
hilarious.
guys with the full guitar,
Like the whole kit?
drums, kit in the full costumes,
That's
sombreros. You can't even fit that many people in
Yeah.
a row. They're playing the music
Yeah.
and like it was nice. I was impressed, but you don't belong in a Subway car.
Well, like,
Dude, they're whacking like people's heads with their like
Yeah.
stuff. They're moving around.
Legit.
It's a crowded Subway. Mariachi band does not belong there. But
Yeah.
in Subways, I've seen some shit, right? Because I work in a city area, and quite literally, I've seen some shit.
dude, I've seen 4 turtles following a big ass rat in city subways. Like
Turtles?
like mutant ninja turtles. I'm kidding.
Wait, I was about to be like, damn.
I mean, dude, I've seen some big ass rats.
The rats are
They're
like
gross.
Dude, you could feed a family off one of
Yeah.
those rats.
But
I'm
dude-
not saying anybody suggested.
But dude, you did say one thing though about how like money isn't readily accessible sometimes. So like, you know, again, like we said, no hate towards Subway hustlers. It's just I have a place to be. I didn't request you to do that.
I guess we're probably not part of your target demographic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all, which is okay.
But the thing, like what Jason had said, is like, dude, I only ever have cash on me if I had to go get cash because I had to go to a cash only business. I very rarely have. I always have my credit card.
Yep.
So anyone listening who is a Subway hustler, dude, put like a little square space
Venmo.
thing in your butt and just like have people swipe their credit card. Actually, Venmo is the perfect outlet.
Dude, have a
Yeah, it's
Venmo
way
on your
easier.
shirt, like
Yeah.
at Mariachi Band.
I was thinking
69,
more
you
of
know?
like do you take cards? And the guy just bends over, plumber's crack. You give it a little like swipe,
Little swipe.
whatever.
Yeah, that
Venmo
works.
would work too.
No, it makes it better if you're
Yeah.
gonna try to get that. But I do have a story of I think we should both. I know that you have a couple stories, but I think we should both say the weirdest kind of thing we've seen in the city, right? And so we get on the Subway car, and there's this guy, right? He looks like kind of like 40s maybe or so, right? And he's just chilling. He's sitting back. He has like a visor on, and he has this like his phone out, and he's kind of like listening to something on his headphones, like bopping his head a bit.
Sure.
So he takes the headphones off, and he has this weird attachment on his phone, right? So we're kind of looking on, but you don't really look at people in the Subway. You let them do their own thing.
A physical thing hanging off his phone, you mean?
It was like a block attachment on his
Okay.
phone, right? So he actually takes his headset off, and he's doing some stuff on his phone, and then he puts this like block. He like puts it on his like leg that was previously connected to his phone, right? And he angles it, and he angles it up, and it starts projecting what he was listening to and watching in the Subway car, right? And so it's kind of weird, but also kind of wholesome. I don't know. He could just be a big fan, but he was playing K-pop, right? So you had
really?
you had like So he had like these K-pop girls dancing, like a girl band, right?
Sure.
And like going like crazy, and he starts projecting and playing off his speakers
Mm-hmm.
in the Subway car with like everyone else. No one had asked for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was interested. Like I was just like, oh, this is cool. Like it's not every day you see somebody project K-pop on the side of a Subway car, but he starts going into it. He's like dancing. He's having a great time, and he's just projecting his entire K-pop catalog to everyone in the Subway car, and he's singing along. And I was just like, whoa.
Could you hear it too? Like was it?
Oh yeah, he had a speaker.
Okay.
So he went from like a private showing to like once everyone was locked in the Subway car, he's like, oh, we're moving. Headphones off. Like let me just set this up. Speaker on. All right, we're all K-popping now.
That's kind of wild, actually. I've definitely never experienced anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was like everyone needs a little K-pop, right? I don't know what it was, but he was harmless, right? And I thought it was interesting. I thought it was really cool, and
Yeah.
I'm talking about it now. So that was something that was unique in my like daily, you know, kind of thing. But I thought that was crazy, and I thought he was so happy, right? He was so happy listening to his K-pop that I didn't care anything else. I mean, it would have been a different story if he was blasting something else that was inappropriate.
Yeah.
But like K-pop just seems like a so like kind of wholesome, like happy, like everything's a good kind of thing. So I was a fan, but it was very funny.
I have an idea for you, K-pop man. I think you should do this exact same thing where you have the projector and everything, but you need to basically just project your Tinder profile and get the entire train on your side and be like, all right, left, right, swipe back and forth. Just have everybody, like a whole train car.
Just start crowdsourcing your decisions in life.
All right, what do we think? What do you think? Not for me. All right, keep moving.
Wait, that's great. That reminds me of a show that there was like I don't know. I think it was a Black Mirror episode on Netflix where it's like you get told by like kind of a community of what to do, right? And it's voted on. It's like, oh, what should I do next?
Yeah,
should I go to the park? Should I do this?
You get like points, and society is based off of how many like points or you whatever you have.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's not much different than Twitch live streaming is right now. Because somebody will be walking around with a GoPro with like Twitch and be walking through like Las Vegas, and they're like, "What do I do now? Should I go to the casino? Should I go to the strip club? Should I go get pizza?" Like, and people decide in the chat.
Or
right?
cancel culture can literally just be like, "Oh, we don't like you anymore. We're not going to watch what you have." Yeah, and then you're like, "You're toast."
Yeah, but like either way, it's like the crowdsourcing decisions. Yeah. Right? I think that's very fun.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll do a crowdsourced Call Me Larry episode or event sometime.
All right, I'm down. Maybe a live stream or something. Yeah. So I have had plenty of weird experiences. Nothing like very, I guess plenty of memorable ones, but nothing that was that big of a thing. So I kind of want to share a recent thing that I experienced when I was on my way here to the studio for recording. And I already told Jason this story, but I'm going to recount it because it was wild to me. So I got off the train and I'm walking here. Actually, I was taking one train to another, but either way. So I was connecting up in the streets and I saw the Taj fucking Mahal of homeless people like setups. It was incredible, dude. I was so impressed. I was like, wow, dude, you got this thing set up. So I'm walking down the street and I see 2 traffic cones with like a little like cardboard box, like, wall kind of deal. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And then I see an umbrella, and then I see a human within this. So let me describe it. It's literally 2 traffic cones, which is hilarious to me because he's like, yo, danger zone, don't come in. It's my space, whatever, watch out. And then those are supporting a wall, right? And so the other side of this guy, he has the wall of the building next to him. And then he also has an umbrella covering his head. He's got like the blankets and everything that all homeless people have kind of on the streets. but he's wearing glasses, probably baked out of his mind. I have no idea. But he's just loving life. And I was like, dude, I have never once seen someone actually set up their own unit. Like literally, this is my space. You get the rest of the sidewalk. And then I also have an umbrella to keep the water out. Like I was very, very impressed walking down the street. So that was interesting that I saw really recently in the city.
Wow. No, actually, what you said right there reminds me of a story I have from Japan. So you're saying this guy has this really good setup, and he's like locked down this little area, and he looks like he's living it up.
Dude,
right?
He was pimping. Yeah, he had a good time. He had a good spot.
Okay, so in Japan, I had a very weird experience with kind of how homeless people interact and are a part of society. The people in Japan that are homeless build cardboard houses. So you were talking about like this guy has a good setup. I'm talking about I don't know if it's because it's maybe seen as like dishonorable or something like that. Sure. Right? So I don't know if there's kind of like this negative stigma around if you are homeless or not, but homeless people aren't seen. You don't see them at all. They're there. There's people that are homeless.
They have little cardboard villages, like it's like a block of just cardboard houses.
No, I'm not even kidding. So I was walking home one night with one of my friends.
Sure.
And actually, this might have been the pirate night. I think it might have been, right? Because we saw the pirate, we left the pirate, and we're like, okay, well, that was a fun night. Let's walk home.
For those of you who are just chiming in now, go back to, I think it's episode 2 or 3.
Taco Pirate.
And you'll understand what we're referencing. So pause, go listen to that whole episode, and then come back to this, and you'll understand.
So I think it was 2 of the same nights. But so we were walking back to the place that we were staying at, and we were walking out of like the heart of the city and more to the outskirts and into the more like suburban areas.
Sure.
Right? And as we did that, we started to see these really weird structures built on the side of the road, under bridges and stuff, and started to see more and more of them. And I had no clue what they were. It was very weird. It was like little cardboard houses.
Did you go investigate?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't touch anything I don't know.
Sure.
But it was really weird because it was just these like boxes, mounds and mounds of perfect box, like little houses. It was literally like little doll houses. It was weird. And I looked it up online when I was walking back. I was like, what are these boxes in like Japan. And I found out that that's little homes that homeless people live in.
Yeah, that's kind of wild though. That like it's such a cultural
It's like
thing.
organized. It was like organized, like little villages, cardboard villages.
Yeah, but it's like it's just that's so respect. It's like well, it's both respectful, but it's also a cultural thing. Like it's this is where our situation has taken us, and that's where we're here. But I feel like in America, like they don't give a shit, dude. Like I'm gonna go take a dump in that sewer.
That doesn't happen.
I don't
That doesn't
care.
happen in Japan. Everyone has a huge amount of respect for public space.
Exactly.
So even the homeless people are very considerate of public space, and they create these kind of like very organized little establishments. Something else that was really interesting is there was regularly food and water left at the outside of all of these houses.
Yeah.
So I looked it up again, and I don't know any of this for sure. This is just what I saw online. But apparently, a lot of people in Japan have respect and really care about the Japan country as a whole, right? So the average common goer will very frequently leave food and water for other Japanese residents that may be disprivileged, right?
Yeah, I mean that's very like community oriented of them, and something you don't really see a lot here in the United States. But something that I will say, and this is actually it's more of a wholesome, cute story or anything than funny. But so there was one year where my girlfriend bought me Bruins tickets for my birthday, and we were going to the game, and so we went out to dinner first. That's kind of the whole point. And so she didn't finish her meal, right? And she's bringing it with her. She has it in this little cardboard box. And I'm like, hey, you're not going to be able to bring that in the stadium. Like, you're going to have to either finish it, throw it away, or you got to do something with that. She's like, oh, I'll give it to a homeless man, whatever. She is so shy that she wouldn't just bring it up to anyone. And she wanted me to do it. And I'm like, I'm not, like, if you want to do this, this is a your thing. It's like, this is a you thing. Like, not that I wouldn't have done it or had a problem doing it. I was just like, you do it. So she's like, fine, I'll leave it on top of this garbage can. So she leaves on top of the garbage can, and then we go into the game, Bruins win, whatever it was, and we come back out, and she, like, it very specifically beelines it to this garbage can. Like, she needs to know, and it's gone. And it was the most adorable fucking thing. She's just like, I fed a homeless man. And I was like, win-win. She's happy.
That was nice,
the homeless, or whoever took it, got the food. Like, it was awesome. It was just so funny, dude. Cities are so weird like that, but, I mean, I guess I have a question for you. How do you feel about finally living on your own in the city? I know COVID set you back a little bit, kind of moving in with your parents for a while, but you're back out on your own and an independent young man. How you feeling?
Yeah. So I've always, so I'm about to turn 25, and I've been in the workforce, graduated from college, right, building my career for the past 3 years, right, and so I've spent the past 2 years with roommates in different areas. And this right now, so I went home for COVID for about 6 to 8 months. I saved some money there. And I was just like, I'm fed up with my parents. I need to move back out. So when I came back on the market,
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Well, when I came back on the market between, like prices getting reduced from COVID and like me having my previous experiences, I was able to actually get the place that we're recording this at right now to myself. So I don't have any roommates. So it's crazy. It feels really weird, like, being out of my parents' house and all that. But I've been living like on my own per se, right? But with roommates, it's like having a space that I can completely call my own. Now is wild. It's very cool. It's very nice, and I'm like I have this weird kind of like I just moved into this place like a week ago from when I recorded this, right? Literally a week ago. But I have this weird kind of like days around like. I'm proud of myself. I'm confused. Like what? Like I don't know. It's a weird feeling. That's all I can say. Being completely on my own is a weird feeling. I'm happy, right? And I'm proud. I'm proud of it. But it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
It's very hard to explain.
I get it because like I remember when I first got here. So for those of you go follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can see the pictures of the studio. So Jason moved in like roughly a week ago, and so the guy had to take all of his crap. He also had to buy new stuff to furnish a whole apartment. And we kind of had this plan of like me being here, but COVID ruined that for us and for a lot of people. So no complaints or anything, but. He did a great job setting up the studio in the new apartment, and so I think one day we'll eventually get to a professional space. But for right now, this is incredible, and we have a great setup. But I remember walking, I was like, "Damn, dude!" Like I was like, "I'm both happy for you and super envious and jealous," because I'm like, so right now I'm still living with family, and it's like while I'm super grateful to have a place to call be at home. It's like I can't call it my own. That's kind of the whole thing. And so I was like, "Damn!" Like I'm very happy for you. You got your place, but I'm so jealous because it's like, dude, you're like a king in here. You could walk from your bedroom to the bathroom, which, by the way, for context, is all the way through the entire apartment, through the kitchen, everything, butt ass naked, and have no complaint. You can do whatever you want, dude. Like, it's so sick.
I think I'm just gonna spend all of my time here naked.
I walked out. So I walked out of the studio into the living room, and I see him sitting on the couch. He's shirtless, and I go, "If I was in here, you'd be completely stark naked, wouldn't you?" And you're like, "And covered in peanut butter for sure."
No, I'll say one thing. One thing especially. This is just maybe a weird thing that I have, but like, dude, pooping with the door open in your own space alone, it just feels good.
Dude, I like to close the door. We don't need smells traveling.
Well, it's just me. Who cares?
I guess that's true, but I guess kind of like that leads me into also, because I still live with family and you have the perspective on the outside, is like, how do you feel about your relationship with your parents now? Because while I still live with, family, I don't live with my parents per se. And so my relationship is very different with them. And like, I would say like, more respectful and kind of like, we're all adults here. Like, let's discuss the situation type of deal. I don't know, but that you just recently left. So how's that going?
Yeah. So after moving out, and I think this is something, the relationship that you have with your parents, and this is at least for me, you kind of get closer by spending more time apart.
Yeah.
And that sounds weird, but ever since I haven't lived with my parents since I went to college, right? Mm-hmm. So this has been a long time for me. And living at home with COVID and all that, I felt like I was back in high school. I have to do weird house rules and chores that I don't want to do now, you know, because I'm an adult.
It's like when you go home for winter break and all of a sudden you have a curfew again.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's like, and your parents are like, what's going on? It's like, why do I need to tell you? Like, I'm an adult.
I very quickly was like, no, Mom, I do not have a curfew.
I'm not
dealing with this.
But it's like when you're not like living with your parents and like, I don't know. I think you can appreciate each other a little bit more just because naturally when you're living and spending every waking hour around someone, you kind of take some of that for granted and get frustrated, and that's completely normal, right? But I think moving back out and having my space, and I've lived away from my parents for a while, so I'm just saying this in general. But I'm saying what's gonna happen now is I'll talk to my parents more and keep in touch, and like we'll still see each other, and I'm pretty close to them. But I think I'll appreciate it more now not living with them because we were just all at each other's necks after a while when we were at when we were sharing the same place at home.
Well, when you go from the relationship of like, they're always your parents, of course, but like you go from like they're kind of in charge of your safety and well-being, and they're gonna tell you what to do because they think it's best for you.
Their parents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then at the same time, like they will never not do that. Like parents will always do that. But it's like, I'm a grown ass man. I have a job. Like I have a 401k. I have a retirement plan. Like respectfully, I don't need you kind of looking out for me. But I think like it was a good point too that you had. It's like, and so as I mentioned, I don't live with my parents either. I live with other family. But it's like those times when you have the opportunity to hang out with your parents. Like I'll go golfing with my dad, at least back, when the weather was good. Maybe once a month or something. But we always we're very hyped, and we spent the whole day together. And we go golfing, and then we go out to dinner, and having some beers, laughs, like whatever. And we looked forward to it all the time. I feel like you don't value those experiences as much when they're just kind of like a regular thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not a regular thing. It's like after you go party and hang out and do your thing, you both go home and you're at the same place.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you argue about what to watch on TV or whatever.
Exactly.
It becomes a much more friendship relationship with your parents once you're no longer with them all the time. And it's more friends. You're mutually interested in talking and knowing each other and knowing more about each other and like planning stuff. That kind of stuff. Well,
you also have like more to talk about too. Like you have news, you have updates in your life.
That's true. Like if you're living together, there's nothing to talk about.
I mean, I talk to my parents on a daily basis, like easily text or call, whatever it is, and like just quick things. But like, you have those big conversations about jobs and relationship and life in person. But like, I think the other thing that reminds me about too is, so with that, you have to be contacted. Like you can't just have your parents kicking your door in, go, hey, what's up? You're freaking out. And like, it's like they have to call you, right? Why does my mom never answer the phone, or any mom in general? Why do they never answer on the first ring? Me and my brother have this running joke, or on the first call. I mean, me and my mom have this my brother have this running joke that if someone straight up put a gun to our heads and said, call your mom, if she doesn't answer, I will kill you, that we would look them dead in the eyes and go, kill me. She will not answer. Dude, I told her that on a family Zoom call, and she was livid. I was like, if my brother was here, he would back me up for sure.
Yeah,
like without a doubt.
No, it does seem like
It's such a mom thing to do.
No, it happens for both my parents too, I think. I don't know what it is, but like the first time you call them,
Never.
no contact. Second time you call them, first ring, they
Yes.
pick up. Like, oh, what's up? Like, what's going on? It's like, I just called you, you didn't answer. It's like, oh, I was like doing this.
Yeah.
There's always something, but it's just very weird because then you call them again or something and it's like instant.
Dude, and when I was a kid, Trevor Wallace from Stiff Socks has an unbelievable video, like I guess skit on his YouTube channel about how like him being a mom and like finding things and just automatically assuming it's drugs or something whatever. It's so funny, but like it's so true because my mom would never answer on the first call. If I don't answer on the first call, she would immediately text me and go, "Are you smoking? Are you doing weed? Are you drinking?
doing weed?
Are you doing anything bad?" And I'm like, Mom, I was asleep. Like I was just taking a nap. Like calm down. It's like they go from 0 to 100 so fast, and you're just like, when I need you, you don't answer.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, like it's just ridiculous.
No, I
So
totally get
funny.
that.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of calling other people, you can call me Larry.
Hey, there we go. Hey.
Anyway, this has been the Call Me Larry podcast. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple iTunes, wherever you listen
Follow
to
us.
wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oh God, it's reminding me of the Hot Larry's episode. Just guys, this is our new thing. Just do something. Call me Larry. Just do something.
Nah, but seriously, we really appreciate it. Leave a review if you so choose, and like and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at callmelarry_pod. Yeah, thanks for listening. Peace.
This is Call Me Larry. Like and follow to get us on demand.